What's good, fam? Welcome back to the zone. Shout out to all of you who continue to rock with me as well as this series, and also shout out to the new family members that have joined over the past month. Today I have another installment of the FBL playoffs where we will head back to ATL for game 2 of the 76ers versus HAWKS series. Now check out episode 23 if you need to catch up on what happened during game 1, and as always, I appreciate you for stopping by. Now let's get into it. Here we have Aaron Lawrence, this year's DPOY, preparing for his matchup against Ralph Holloway, whereas the 76ers have a bit of a challenge on their hands with two notable injuries. First off, Angel Reed got injured in game 1 of the series against the Knicks with a high left ankle sprain, so the 76ers will be missing out on his 13.5 points and 5 assists. In addition, Roderick Henderson has a bruised left shoulder, which fortunately is on the mend. Jumping into the first, the 76ers started the game with high energy and aggressiveness, which seemed to catch the Hawks off guard. Out the gate, the Hawks were taking 4 shots that the Sixers would capitalize on, such as here, with Ralph Holloway hitting a mean green 3 off the transition. Despite this, the Hawks would match the 76ers' energy tit for tat. Aaron Lawrence with the recovery and the vision to find Yancey Maker open for the 3 to take the lead. I will say that I like the chemistry between Clark Bryant and Aaron Lawrence. On this play, Clark threw the lob to Aaron, who leaped from under the rim to do a 180 cram. The Hawks had the momentum, and they were up by 5. Fast forward to the 4-minute mark, Aaron Lawrence had a great stop by deflecting a lob pass to Ralph Holloway. On the transition, Aaron would find Clark Bryant open at the perimeter again, who will proceed to bury another 3-point shot to extend the Hawks' lead to 6. The 76ers bench would fight back and take the lead with this 3-point shot by Randall Cameron, which would be the 4th lead change in the quarter. Sixers up by 2. By the second quarter, the battle between the two teams raged on, with both teams vying for position, although it seemed to be a stalemate. Dexter Burke here with the drive, and green midi in Reed Rose's face to start off the quarter. Ralph Holloway took advantage of his mismatch, and off the screen from Reed Rose would hit a tough green floater and one. Fast forward to the 7-minute mark, Clarence Booker found Shannon Tarsuski at the perimeter, who would hit a mean green from 3 to extend the Sixers' lead. Now, if I were the coach, I'd be giving more touches to Shannon because 1, he averaged 16 points during the season on 45% shooting from the field and 43% from beyond the arc. 2, with Angel Reed out, the spacing has improved drastically, and 3, Shannon can create shots for himself as well as his teammates. But as we just saw, Ralph Holloway was sloppy and got ripped by Shane Hicks after getting clamped up by Aaron Lawrence. Off the fast break, Shane would find Aaron on the wing, who would bury his own 3-point shot, the game now tied at 37. Now, not for nothing, Aaron is absolutely bunched from the arc, averaging only 20% of roughly 400 attempts, but hold on, Shane Hicks with the spin move and lay to make Wesley Law look goofy. With 4 minutes left in the half, the Hawks needed to dig deep so that they would not go into the second half with a 10-point deficit. Rudolph Farrell let the play develop and found Yancey Maker right where Yancey needed to be. With all the space, Yancey would hit a mean green 3 to reduce the deficit to 5. The Hawks would capitalize on their momentum, and on this fast break, Shane Hicks would bury a transition 3 to bring the lead to within 1. Now, if you missed the 76ers team highlight, Clarence Booker was the first play I created, and I didn't know he had this in his bag. Saucing Clark Bryant up to finish with a tough lay, Philly 45, ATL 42. Jumping into the third, Clarence Booker started off the quarter the same way he ended the second, losing Clark Bryant off the screen and finishing the paint with a green lay. It seemed as if the Sixers found their focus defensively, especially Ralph Holloway, who was being a pest and almost got a steal. Aaron Lawrence had to force up a bad shot with Dean Pearson grabbing the board. On the opposite end, the battle between Ralph Holloway and Aaron Lawrence continued, with Ralph hitting Aaron with the behind the back, driving to the basket, lay, and one. But don't sleep. The Hawks went on a mean run with Clark Bryant hitting the 7th out of the 9 straight points the Hawks scored. The 23rd overall pick is not the flashiest of players, but Clark Bryant doesn't mess around from beyond the arc, averaging 41% for the season. Shane Hicks would soon after hit a deep green midi to help the Hawks take the lead. But Shannon Tarsuski would clap back with his own mid-range shot, making this the 6th lead change in the game. Sixers 59, Hawks 58. On this play, Shannon Tarsuski would torch the Hawks again with a mean green from 3, and he turned his back on him. This is exactly why I said Shannon should get more touches. Jumping into the 4th, the Hawks were up by 9 points, make that 12 points after a mean green from 3 on the wing by Clark Bryant. I'm really hoping Clark has a development story similar to Jordan Poole, considering they were drafted at around the same pick, with Clark being selected at 23 and Jordan being selected at 28. Clark has been contributing more and more during the season and now in the playoffs, so I think that would be dope if Clark develops in the same way. But look at Julian Bush getting it done on both sides of the court, which is exactly how the Hawks were able to take over in the 3rd, as well as get to the line as much as they did. Aaron Lawrence would completely take over in the 4th with moves like this turnaround mid-range jump shot and great defensive stops. The Hawks would go on to win Game 2, 116-98. Aaron Lawrence showed the 76ers that he's really him during this game. And in case they or you forgot, Aaron is the FBL Season 1 Defensive Player of the Year, and his stats prove why. Now I know I said this earlier, but just in case you decided to skip to this part. Nonetheless, looking at the tail of the tape, Aaron finished this game with a 30-point, 23-board double-double. He also had 7 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. Aaron was a straight menace to the Sixers, and Ralph Holloway nor his teammates had any answers on how to stop him. Although he was pretty efficient from the field overall, the fact that he made none of the 7 3-point shots he attempted really dragged down his efficiency numbers. As for the Sixers, Ralph Holloway surprisingly finished the game leading the team in scoring with 24 points, 4 boards, 1 assist, 2 steals, and 1 block. But like Aaron Lawrence, Ralph was horrible from beyond the arc, only making 1 out of 4 shots, which brought his overall percentage down to 47%. He did, however, get 9 points from the free throw line because of his ability to collapse the lane. Looking at the box score, it's clear that if the Sixers didn't fold in the second half, they had a chance to win the game. After Aaron Lawrence, Clark Bryant was the 2nd highest scorer for the Hawks with 16 points, despite having a terrible shooting game. He shot 50% from beyond the arc, but only 33% from the field overall. After Clark, Shane Hicks had almost a double-double with 15 points and 7 boards. He's followed by Rudolph Ferrell, who came a long way since the beginning of the season with a 13-point and 17-board double-double with 6 assists, as well as Tyler Yu, who had 11 points on 50% shooting, and Julian Bush, who had a 10-point and 11-board double-double. The Sixers, on the other hand, need to rework their game plan. Shannon Tarsuski had a near triple-double with 20 points, 8 boards, and 9 assists on 41% shooting, but he shot terribly from beyond the arc as he tried to get the Sixers back into the game. The Sixers definitely need help at the 1 position because Shannon is the only point guard they have. This is why Shannon had to play almost the entire game. Clarence Booker, who's on the 2nd string, had 14 points, 4 boards, and 4 assists, while shooting 32% from the field, but he too had a poor night from beyond the arc. I said earlier that the bench really helped the Sixers get back into the game, and it was he and Roderick Henderson who did so offensively. Wesley Law had a 10, 5, and 3 plus 2 blocks, followed by Roderick Henderson, who had 9 points on 80% shooting despite his injury. The Sixers took a lot of good-looking shots, especially Clarence Booker from beyond the arc, but the shots just weren't falling. Similarly, the Sixers lacked discipline in the paint, having given up 66 points compared to the 56 points that they made. The Hawks were able to get 17 more rebounds than the 76ers, of which the Hawks converted 19 rebounds into 21 points. Things are looking grim for both the Pelicans and the Sixers, with both teams being down 2 games, but there's still 2 more games to play before it's all said and done. But that is it for today's episode, fam. If you made it to this point, leave DPOY down below in the comments so that I know you made it to the end of the video. Until the next episode, as always, first and foremost, I appreciate you. Keep grinding, keep growing, and keep shining. I'm out. 1.